आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
The big other story today, and I'll run some big full-frame visuals on this, has been the huge escalation between Israel and Iran. Israel has struck Iran, full frame, hitting about 100 targets, specifically the military and nuclear sites, under an operation that they are calling Operation Rising Lion. At least 2 top commanders from Iran have been reportedly killed in the strikes. Israel says it has enough intel evidence to believe that Iran's nuclear program had reached what they call a point of no return. Netanyahu is saying that the operation is aimed to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. And he is insisting that this is in global interest. Trump is backing Netanyahu, and Israel is confident that it will be able to counter any response that comes in from the Iranian side. Well, I have earlier spoken today to Reuven Azar, who is the ambassador of Israel to India, and I now would like to play out that conversation exclusively for the debate. With us is the ambassador of Israel to India, Ambassador Reuven Azar. Thank you very much, Ambassador Azar. The very newsy point of time as far as Israel is concerned. Now, Israel has carried out Operation Rising Lion, and you've targeted Iranian nuclear facilities. How many have you targeted? Have you eliminated their nuclear infrastructure? Is there going to be a second round of these strikes? And what retaliation do you expect?
Well, Arnab, at the outset, allow me to share the condolences of the entire nation of Israel for this, following this terrible plane crash yesterday.
Thank you.
Our hearts go out to the victims, their families, and we wish a speedy recovery to the injured.
Yes.
It's a difficult moment. And we also have our challenges, as you rightly said. We have decided to take this action, Arnab, because we sensed and we knew that the Iranians were about to assemble the nuclear weapon. So as you know, they've been accumulating fissile material, but in parallel to that, and parallel to the negotiations they've been having with the United States, they had a clandestine group that was actually trying to assemble a nuclear weapon. And that's why we attacked. And we attacked not only their their nuclear facilities, we attacked their missile capability, because if the nuclear track is the first track to annihilate Israel, the ballistic missile is the second track. And we hit some of it in October. We hit more now because they were planning to build 10,000 ballistic missiles in 3 years and 20,000 in 6 years. Okay, that would be devastating for us because we're a small country, in the size of half of Haryana or Mizoram. And you have to understand that. So such ballistic missile bears 1,000 kilos of TNT and can kill hundreds of people. So we took care of that as well. We hit the military command, those who are in charge of this multiple track course to destroy us. So we took out the head of their army, the head of their Revolutionary Guards, and lots of others. And we've been dealing so far, as you know very well, with the third track that they were enacting against us. That's the ring of fire with all the proxy wars against us. So yes, we hit all of that, but it's not enough. It's a continuing effort, and actually we are going now to a second round. After they have retaliated with these drones that we managed to foil, they are firing at us ballistic missiles now. So this is something that is going to take some time, but we are determined to, stop the Iranians from doing what they want to do. And there are still targets to target at this point.
So you have defanged them, or you've just weakened them?
We have weakened them. I cannot say at this point, and we don't have the BDA, the analysis of the military strike to the extent that we can determine anything. But, this is something we wanted to prevent for many years. We've been trying to approach this in a pragmatic way, in a diplomatic way, by putting pressure on Iran through sanctions, through creating coalitions. But we have reached a point that we had to take action. Because Arnab, our people have suffered an attempt to annihilate him only 80 years ago. And a third of our people got killed by the Nazi machine. And we said never again. And our sense is that never again is now. Because if we would have allowed this clandestine group to assemble a nuclear warhead, that means that Israel can be attacked with nuclear weapons at any moment by a country that has sworn to exterminate us.
What about these global concerns about nuclear safety? Similar questions have been indirectly asked of India after we attacked Pakistan during the Sindoor operations, especially when an underground tunnel, which was believed to be a nuclear storage hub, was targeted, and American experts came in, boron was flown in, and it is believed that happened on the morning of the 9th and 10th. Now, there is the other world which says that India is becoming like Israel. And India attacked, nuclear storage centers that caused alarm everywhere. One strike by India, not even acknowledged officially that we hit nuclear strikes, hit their nuclear bases, caused global alarm. Isn't there alarm over what you've done? The IAEA is not happy with you, and people are talking about nuclear safety, nuclear leaks, radiation, nuclear contamination, impact on civilians. What happens to that?
Well, you know it better than anyone else because you already have a rival that is a nuclear power. And you know what are the consequences of dealing with that. Imagine we would have to face the same situation. Israel, tiny Israel, that is 150 times smaller than India, both in size and in population. So the consequences of dealing with a nuclear Iran are far more grave than dealing with Iran now. And that's why we acted now.
Can you stop them in the future? And what is America's role in this? Trump has been trying to work out a deal. What happened to that? No progress on that. Do you think the Iranians were stalling the Americans and buying time in the process?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why did the Americans allow that to happen?
Well, the Americans haven't allowed that because they have actually given us the coordination necessary and the support in order to conduct this operation. And the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been very clear with that. You probably saw what he declared today.
Yes, he's declared further rounds of strikes will happen. I mean, there's no pulling back from this. So now it's a do or die, now or never battle for you vis-a-vis Iran.
Look, unfortunately, the Iranians didn't take President Trump seriously enough. He said it, he meant it. And now we are delivering on that promise.
But they have Chinese support. The Iranians, well, indirect support. The Chinese give the Iranians money. The money from the Iranians give the Houthis money, give the people in the Ring of Fire money. So eventually there is some amount of Chinese leverage. What is China's role going to be?
Well, I'm not aware that China is supporting financially Iran's military or nuclear program.
But they're supporting Iran.
What we have seen different kinds of support. I think that there is no legitimacy for the Iranians to build a nuclear arsenal from the side of China. I think that the entire world, as we've seen now with the report of the IAEA, is basically circling around the illegitimacy of Iran to continue breaching the safeguards agreement with the IAEA, with the, in the context of the NPT. So Iran is isolated. Iran will bear the price if they continue in their quest to acquire nuclear weapons.
Now, what Indians would like to see is Pakistan's nuclear facilities targeted and eliminated. What Indians would like to see one day would be Hafiz Saeed killed, Masood Azhar killed in Indian strikes, and therefore everything that I'm asking you for our audience has an Indian connotation, whether you're saying this or not. So, Ambassador, this time you have not just targeted their nuclear installations, their enrichment plants, the uranium conversion facility. You have also had targeted killings of key figures like General Hussein Salami, who's the mastermind of their proxy wars, Mohammad Bagheri, who's a top military commander with a sort of history. Nuclear scientists also, you've eliminated nuclear scientists who are working on the enrichment program.
They were part of this criminal scheme of
but
trying to eliminate.
You acknowledge you targeted the nuclear scientists as well?
Yes.
Why are you targeting the scientists? Why?
They were part of the criminal element that is destined to destroy Israel. Look, there are countries that are seeking nuclear energy a nuclear...
What is the message you were trying to send by targeting these military figures and the nuclear scientists?
If you engage yourself in a program destined to eliminate our country, you will pay the price.
And the military figures?
Well, they were in charge of the entire operation.
And yet after this, you say you only slowed them down. You're not being able to stop them.
At the end of the day, we have to work with what we have in order to defend ourselves the best way that we can. Unfortunately, we are not a superpower. We're just a small country in our region, but we are determined to survive, but not only to survive, to thrive. And the Iranian regime won't be able to change our determination to live peacefully in our region. And if they try to attack us, they will be attacked back. We don't have magic solutions, but we have the determination, we have the resolve, we have invested decades and billions of dollars in creating the right intelligence, in developing sophisticated tools, and we have proved that we not only talk the talk, but we walk the walk. And the Iranians have to believe
Do you
us.
think this is about bringing Iran on the negotiating table? You weaken them, then you bring them on the negotiating table, because Donald Trump seems to be using these strikes to counterbalance as a leverage. He's just said a couple of hours ago that the US makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it. Much more is to come. They know how to use it. So is he trying to take credit for the strikes, or is he trying to dissociate from the strikes, or is he trying to use the strikes for a deal? Which maybe they are more flexible for a deal now.
I think President Trump knows that war is the continuation of diplomacy with other means. At the end of the day, when diplomacy fails, you get to situations like the situation we have right now. And that means that if you put enough pressure, you have a chance maybe to alter the situation. I think that we have a great relationship with the United States. We are very grateful for all the support in technology and platforms that the United States has supplied, in the current supply of what we need in order to engage in self-defense. And this is a coordinated situation. We are in complete sync with the United States.
Are you working closer with America today than in 2020?
Yes.
Because in 2020, 2020, Trump openly spoke about the killing of Qasem Soleimani.
Yes.
Right? This time, at least officially, Marco Rubio was quick to deny technically US involvement in the strike. But yet you say you're working more closely together. So can you explain that?
Qasem Soleimani was not only the most prominent archi-terrorist in the world, and was not only threatening Israelis, but he was threatening Americans. And that's why America took action. Now, Israel has hit Iran because Iran was trying to assemble a nuclear weapon that would hit Israel and would exterminate Israel. The United States has its own set of considerations. They are not necessarily identical with ours.
Yes.
But what we have is a bond and is a mutual support and is a situation in which we can work in coordination and we can do whatever we have to do in order to defend ourselves, and America is backing us. There is a change in the American approach. They are not in the way of thinking that they have to do everything themselves. They have allies, and their allies are free to act with American support, and it doesn't necessarily have to be American soldiers when they're talking about threats against allied countries.
Last question. How closely are you working with India on strategic defense matters?
Our cooperation with India is a very deep cooperation, is a relationship of trust, is a relationship that is getting both countries a lot of benefits because it allows us to develop indigenous capabilities that increases our ability to defend ourselves. And this is only going to grow.
Okay. Well, Ambassador, thank you very much. We'll track this. We'll trouble you again.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला
सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप